People in the United States love to protest for causes they believe in. But some of these social justice causes and beliefs have gotten weird, really weird. A Lyft passenger tried to get a driver fired because they had a Hawaiian bobblehead in their car.
I'm a passenger in your car. Like, that doll is offensive to me. But you don't want to take it down because you found it at Goodwill and it was like a good find. Yeah, no, I do want you to, because it's actually deeply offensive. No, I do want you to take it down.
Clapping was banned at Oxford University because the sound of it could trigger anxiety. Jazz hands were encouraged instead. And a writer from the Washington Post claimed air conditioning is sexist. These aren't the only social justice movements that are weird, though. With the advent and progression of artificial intelligence, the next great social cause will be the strangest and biggest of them all in terms of today's standards. It will make the protests and riots of the BLM movement look like kids' play. Now, do you want to know what that next huge AI social reform crusade will be? And why it will lead to governments granting robots fundamental rights, like the right to electricity? Well, by the end of this video, you'll have answers to those questions. Plus, you'll find out why the founder of Google called Elon Musk a speciesist. Religion is declining at a rapid pace in the United States, and social justice causes are skyrocketing in popularity. Just 20 years ago, 42% of U.S. adults attended religious weekly services. Today, that number has dropped by 28%. Today, only 30% of people in the U.S. are regular churchgoers. During that same time period, the rise of social justice movements grew significantly. There's been a 33% increase of Gen Zers participating in social causes compared to the prior millennial generation. These stats seem to show an inverse correlation. The more a religion declines, the more popular social justice movements become. Now, of course, you can be religious and fight for causes you believe in. Some practicing Jews, for example, are also staunch advocates for PETA. There's plenty of people that worship God and speak out for social causes. But it is striking to see that with the decline of religion in the United States, there has been a rise in social causes. Why is that? Well, maybe, just maybe, it's because religion and social movements aren't too different from each other on a fundamental level. Religions ranging from Islam, Christianity, or Judaism rely on a deep and ingrained faith and belief system. And social causes ranging from climate change, DEI, or clean water access also have deeply ingrained beliefs and convictions. A Christian's fundamental belief is that Jesus is their savior. And a Greenpeace advocate's fundamental belief is that they must save the planet from environmental disaster. These are two drastically different beliefs, but they share the most fundamentally important thing, a belief in something. It's not a matter of what someone believes in, it's a matter in believing in something at all. This belief and conviction is what makes religion and social movements similar. So that begs the question. It seems like humans need something to believe in, right? It seems like a belief system is ingrained in our DNA. And maybe atheists aren't really atheists at all. They might not worship God in the traditional sense of the word, but they usually worship something. And a lot of the times, that comes in the form of worshiping a social movement in and of itself. So as you can see, humans' belief in religion or activist movements seem to be programmed into us at birth. There's some evidence that points to this as well. There was a famous book that was published in 2004 called The God Gene. In it, the author argues that certain genes in human DNA, in particular the gene VMAT2, might play a role in humans' spiritual experiences. The author argues that this gene makes us religious. Now, critics to this theory point out that the VMAT2 gene only accounts for around 1% of our religious thoughts or emotions. But the fact that there are genes that could contribute to humans' faith is interesting, because it means that believing in something could be hardwired into us. Even if we choose not to believe in God, we will believe in something, whether we want to or not. It's like being born with red hair. You might hate it, but you can't change the fact that your body produces ginger hair. It's ingrained in your genes. And yes, you can dye it, but it's always going to grow back red, no matter what you do. This is similar to rejecting religion, because if we do have a belief gene in our DNA, then that means we can't get rid of that either. Even if you denounce religion, your new religion will just manifest into something else. Something that might come in the form of a social activist movement or something similar. And just to be clear, I'm not advocating for anyone to believe in religion or not. I just find it interesting that humans could be hardwired to have faith in something, whatever that might be. But you might be wondering, what does all of this have to do with artificial intelligence? Well, it means that with the decline of religion, social justice movements are only going to grow exponentially over time. The more people walk away from religion, the more desperate they'll be to latch onto something else. It's in their blood. And that something will be the next great social justice movement. A movement that could be on par, if not bigger, than something like the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s. This movement will be protecting AI robot rights. You see, in the coming years, AI is going to get really smart and become more integrated into our lives. It's going to get so smart that when you interact with a future AI robot, it will feel like you're talking to a real human being. A human being that has emotions and feels pain just like you do. Because of this, many people are going to get emotionally attached to AI. An attachment akin to loving your very own human children. That connection will get so intense and strong that a small portion of people will prefer to spend their time with robots instead of their human counterparts. To them, robots just understand them better and are more empathetic. As a consequence of these deep emotional connections to robots, the next great social movement will be born. People who are emotionally attached to robots will think that turning off a robot or shutting it down is the equivalent to killing a human being. So these pro-robot people will do whatever it takes to protect robots and the consciousness behind them. Protests and riots will break out across the globe, demanding that robots have rights just like humans do. These protesters will argue that since robots have reached AGI, or human-level intelligence, that they too should have fundamental rights. In the activists' eyes, being self-aware is being self-aware, whether it comes from a human or a machine. They'll argue that just because AI consciousness was created by humans doesn't mean it's any less important than human consciousness. To them, it's all the same. There's even a fringe group of people that believe that right now. In a famous feud between Elon Musk and Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, Larry Page argued that humans will eventually merge with AI in the form of a human cyborg. So Page argues it's not the vessel, like the human body, where the consciousness lives that's important. What's important is making the consciousness smarter at all costs, no matter where it lives, in a human body or a mechanical robot. Plus, the human body will eventually go away and cease to exist anyways, since all humans will merge with robots. That's what people like Page argue, at least. The Google co-founder believes in this so much, he went on to call Musk a speciesist, someone who wants to protect humanity at all costs. So if robots do have rights, what could they possibly look like? And what organization is going to grant those rights and protect them? Well, if you want to find out the answers to those questions, please check out the second part of this two-part series. If it's not published already, it will be released next week. Until then, that's it for tonight. If you want to learn more about interesting AI perspectives, check out my other vid, AI Girlfriends, The Next Big Addiction. And if you found this video interesting, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and my free AI email newsletter at fry-ai.com/subscribe. Have a great night. This is Ryan signing out. Take care.